Hello, everyone. This is Jared O'Shea. I'm from the Interfraternity Council here at Embry-Riddle. Today, we're starting the first episode of the Grease Trap podcast. This podcast is all about Greek life here. For now, it's mostly about the fraternities since this is sponsored by the Interfraternity Council. But eventually, we'll have some guests on here from all over Greek life, some probably grads or graduates, new people. We might have some people outside of Greek life and everything like that. Today, we have some special guests on the first episode. We have John Scavo, the IFC president, and we have Mikey Dipierro, the former IFC VP of Operations and the current Phi Delta Theta chapter president here. Introduce yourselves.
Hey, what's up, guys? John Scavo, current Interfraternity Council president. I'm also a part of Fiji here at Embry-Riddle. I'm super excited to get this rolling. Been thinking about doing this podcast for a long time. Happy that Jared's getting it going. And couldn't think of a better first guest than Michael over here.
Hello, everyone. This is Michael, Phi Delta Theta president. I was on the exec board, VP of operations for the IFC with Scavo and Jared. So it's good to be here. Thank you guys for inviting me.
Welcome. We're glad to have you guys both here. Now that we got those introductions out of the way, I think honestly we're just gonna hop straight into the questions for today. For this first episode, we want to keep it nice and light. We're just gonna talk about some of the good times you have here, some of the traditions you have, stuff like that, and then we'll go into a little more, a little bit of serious stuff, but not too serious. We'll talk about some leadership skills and things like that. So if we just want to start right off, either one of you guys, whoever's ready first, we'll just start off with what are some of your favorite events that fraternities hold here at Embry-Riddle in Greek life?
Yeah, I guess I can answer that one first. For me, I really enjoy the large-scale philanthropic events we do here. One of the things that separates us from other schools is how serious and how well we do when it comes to philanthropy, whether that's raising money for our individual chapters, raising money for a brother in need or a graduate brother in need, or even if it's just raising money for our philanthropic organization of choice. We do a lot of competitions. We get really competitive with it. We raise upwards of $100,000 as a whole community annually. So for the size of our school and the size of our community, that's huge. And when you go to these events, you learn a lot about the philanthropy, or you learn about the cause, and it really makes you feel like you're a part of something bigger than yourself, and you're doing things for the right reasons.
The philanthropy events are definitely huge on campus. We're excited to compete as Phi Delta for Tri Sigma Fashion Show. Our contestant is Matt Nelson. We're really excited for him to compete. He's really excited, and we're also planning to do Miss Athena this semester to raise money for our philanthropy. Obviously, in the spring semester, there's Z-Man, and this semester you guys are doing your Fiji event. So very excited for everybody this semester.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I know I'm a big fan of all the big competitions. I'm excited for all of them. I think this year's going to be pretty record-breaking. I know we got some new ones coming on the way, like you said, for Phi Delta is one of them, and I just think we're going to raise record numbers of money this year, so that's awesome. Let's just move right on to the next one. If you guys just want to talk about some of your favorite things or like traditions you have with brothers or other members of other fraternities, just the little things you do,
So for Phi Delta, we do a lot of brotherhood events. So one of our biggest event is Bus to Nowhere. We did it this past weekend. We had a lot of fun with it. It's a way to connect with your brothers. So yeah.
Yeah, and while I love the planned brotherhood events that we do with Fiji, my favorite things, especially now more than ever with such a busy schedule, I really enjoy when we do the community service events that we do. One of the biggest ones, we get into the Daytona Dream Center. We work with Shine and Power Kids. It's an after-school program for kids kind of in less fortunate areas. And I love sitting down, helping them with homework, throwing a football with them, just drawing stuff. It's nice. It's a good break out of my week to just kind of be in the moment, help these kids have a good time. I mean, they remember all of us there. And it's also a great bonding experience for the brothers who are able to make it. We all have a smile on our faces afterwards. We can't stop talking about it for the rest of that day. That's something that always shapes my week for me.
Love it. So another question I'm going to ask is, I just kind of am interested what you guys have been here for a while. especially in the Greek community. And I just want to know what you think might have been like one of your favorite socials you had with a fraternity or sorority here in the past.
Um, there's so many great ones, whether they're joint socials or not, or even just joint events. But my favorite one had to be my freshman year when we did our PG party. It was Pike and Fiji. We threw a toga party, and that I believe I was still a pledge. Yeah, I was definitely still a pledge. But being a part of that, and so early on learning that it's okay to do events with other fraternities and invite other people and not have that tension, that for me was awesome. Because I know, especially when you're going through your pledge semester, you're like, oh, did I join the right group? Am I with the wrong guys? Is this the right family for me? But seeing that I was able to still interact with those other chapters and interact with people who I was pledging with at the same time, just for different chapters, that was really cool. And that made me feel comfortable in the IFC community right off the bat.
Yeah, so we had a social last semester. It was a quad social. I really enjoyed it. It was us, Tri Sigma, Theta Phi Alpha, and Sigma Chi. It was at their house. It was really cool to get to know we're the brothers of the fraternities and the sisters and the sororities. Obviously just eating food, barbecue, sitting by the pool, talking. It's a really good interaction with the entire community.
Yeah, for sure. I'd definitely say some of my favorites from my time here. Obviously, our campus, Embry-Riddle, being in Daytona Beach, we've had a lot of great beach socials. Those ones are always a hit. Can't really go wrong with the beach. I'd say one of my other favorites that I've only been to once, but we're trying to make sure we get it done annually now is Fiji and Sigma Chi do a Super Bowl social, and that's always a good one. I mean, you can't go wrong with the Super Bowl. We just hang out, grab some wings from a local restaurant, and just have a good time. So that's probably one of my favorites. How would you say Greek life here is different and unique at Embry-Riddle?
It's definitely way more unique than a state school. Being so small, you're getting a very different experience with the chapter sizes being a lot lower than state schools. It's really nice though because we really care about each other since there's less of us, especially academic wise. We're always on top of each other with grades. We sit at the table a lot and everyone's there to help. Brothers are always in the library. Everyone's pretty much the same major. I hear either AE or AS, and I'm a business major, so pretty different. But I still have brothers that are business, so it's really nice to have the brothers support and help with everything.
Yeah, definitely. That's a huge one. The academics, this school in general is very career oriented, career focused. But for me, in my position as IFC president, I love being able to see the impact that I have here and the impact that other community leaders have here. When I went to AFLV last year, which is a conference with a bunch of FSL people, IFC presidents, Panhellenic presidents, people on their exec boards, they shared kind of their struggles of trying to find solutions and ways to fix things in their community, but it's just not working because of how big and how large their chapters in their community is. Whereas here, not only do we have a smaller community, but we have people who are very driven to get things done. So for me, when I'm trying to, sit down with my advisor, sit down with my exec board and figure out ways to make the community better, it's a lot easier to get everyone on page and we're able to see the results much quicker. I mean, I've only been on the exec board for about coming up on 2 years now, and the changes that have been made in the last 2 years is absolutely insane, especially after coming out of COVID.
Yeah, definitely, man. The Greek life here is the whole thing. Fraternity, sororities, everything. We made a huge leap in the past few years, but overall, this community is just unlike any other I've ever seen. So I'm looking forward to the future here. Moving on to the next one. How has being in a fraternity for you guys helped you with leadership? That could be leadership skills, that could be leadership positions, and where has that led you as a person?
So being the president of fraternity, I learned a lot of communication with my chapter. Being on IFC, it was huge. I learned a lot. Same with communication, but with everyone in the entire community, talking with 9 presidents and even the Panhellenic, it's a huge community that we have. So I learned, how to talk to people, how to get out there. I was a big introvert, so I'm kind of trying to change my way being a senior now. So yeah.
No, I totally agree with that. It helps with communication in so many different aspects, even if it's, having tough conversations, whether that's holding people accountable or just checking in on your brothers and seeing if they're okay. But I know for me, coming to the school, knowing that I was going to be in ROTC, I kind of figured that was where my leadership opportunities were going to stay, whether it was, you know, in ROTC or when I graduated in the Army. But joining Greek life showed me that there's a lot more to leadership than just that military style leadership. And, whether it's being a good friend who leads by example, being that older, wiser member who might not be in a position, but still is able to share that wisdom, or literally being the president or being the vice president of something and having to lead a council or an organization. So it's definitely showed me a lot more opportunities to get myself out there, have difficult conversations with people, and just take myself out of my comfort zone and learn new things.
Yeah, definitely. I'd build off Mikey's a little bit, both of yours. I'd say like it's definitely improved my social skills tenfold since I've gotten to school here. And I'd say social skills really help with leadership skills. I think they go hand in hand. Just being able to talk more gets you more connections, lets you, establish connections with lots of different people, whether that be in Greek life or not. And overall, I just think it's led me to a lot better place. And I think all of us have a bright future ahead of us. So, but that was my last question for you guys. If you guys have any last remarks before we send this off.
Just thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, definitely. Thanks for having us. This is awesome. If you're listening to this podcast and you're not in Greek life, definitely come out to the recruitment events. We got a lot coming out next week. And if you do miss those events, don't worry. You can always talk to the chapters. You can find people wearing Greek letters every Friday in their jerseys. Feel free to go up and talk to them. That's the whole point of this thing. We want you to feel more comfortable talking to us and hearing what we're all about. But thanks again, Jared. This is great what you're doing.
Of course, guys, glad to have you here. So that's going to be it for the first episode of this podcast. We hope you guys are willing to tune into the next one. I think this podcast has a bright future. It's been in the works for a while, so we're glad to finally be here. We're glad to share our Greek life story here with hopefully the rest of the country if we can. So that's going to be it for today. We'll see you guys in episode 2.